Welcome to Festpod, the unofficial download festival guide. I'm Neil Wilkinson. This is the place for news and rumours about the festival, advice for going, and your chance to get involved and ask your questions too. So now let's welcome my fellow hosts. Down in the southwests on the farm, we've got Dave Kingdon. Hello, Dave.
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Just looking forward to the end of lockdown, as I'm sure everyone is.
Yes, we're so close. We're within grabbing distance now, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
And we've got Lee Ellingham in the heart of Buckinghamshire.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Very good. I'm actually really excited and quite happy to be back doing this. It feels like we haven't done this in a while.
Yes, it's time for an update, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes, we've got a few things to tell you about. So get in touch with us on the socials by looking for Festpod. Say hi, you can ask our advice about download or just chime in with whatever you'd like to say to us. We would love to hear from you. So let's get started with some actual news. We have had a download announcement. We've had 70 plus bands added. Now, is this news though?
Yeah, definitely. Because obviously, this is it's definitely news because obviously we haven't had any bands announced up until this point, apart from the three headliners: Kiss, Iron Maiden, Biffy. It's been about 6 weeks, 7 weeks since that announcement. So I suppose the organisers thought, all right, let's get some bands on that lineup. So we've got the people excited, and I'm excited. I don't know about anybody else. Yeah.
But when I say, is it news, I mean, are they not the same bands that were announced previously for the previous year?
Oh, don't open up this can of worms. I've been on the forums, and I've only just looked at the Facebook.
On the what?
The forums.
Right.
Down Festival forums, and obviously I've just had a brief look at the Facebook, and what you said has been repeated basically on there. It's all the same bands from 2020 and 2021. And I say to those people, I'm surprised that anybody is surprised by this.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, that's what we would have hoped for and what we would have expected, isn't it?
Well, I mean, we paid our money in 2020 for the 2020 lineup. And I imagine the organisers are thinking, a lot of people paid their money to see the likes of Iron Maiden, Kiss. Yeah, System of a Down obviously have been taken off the bill. I don't think they can do 2022. But we've got Biffy, who were announced in 2021, where it seems that nobody wants Biffy there, apart from
apart from you,
apart from a handful.
You're all right.
I'm all right. Yeah. My excitement is too much.
Oh. Have you come?
I'm still here. Fucking hell.
When you mentioned Biffy.
Yeah. Biffy got me excited. I think people need to remember again that these bands are on a promise from the organisers. Oh. They're probably contracted as well. That they have to, again, that's something that Download have to adhere to and the bands have to adhere to, and unless both parties say otherwise, I agree otherwise.
I mean, it's a tricky situation, isn't it? Because it's not something that you'd ever normally have to think about. And, a pandemic doesn't come along all the time. And this sort of rearranging twice in a row, it's tough, isn't it?
Yeah. And I mean, do you know what? All sympathy to the organisers. I mean, there is again, it's always the minority that are the loudest. And it is a minority of people that are basically gobbing off saying it's shit. It's the same bands we had last year and the year before. Well, fucking funny that they haven't played yet. So in my mind, and from my opinion, This is exactly what I expected. I said this. I mean, I said this the other day on my own Instagram. That again, as predicted, the bands that were announced 2020 and 2021 are back, with the exception of potentially 4 new bands that weren't on the lineups, but then again could have filled the gaps that were already on 2020 lineup and 2021 lineup.
Are you happy, Dave?
Yeah, it's sort of like a best of the past 2 years that haven't actually happened. Like, obviously, Iron Maiden have come back from 2020, Powerwolf, The Raven Age, Wednesday 13, British Lion as well, obviously, Steve Harris's other band from Iron Maiden. So they've kind of got a few of the bands that were on 2020 but couldn't come to 2021. And they've also got a couple of new ones that weren't on either year, like Black Label Society, The Ghost Inside. So we've got a couple of completely new ones that weren't from either of the years that were cancelled. So there's still a bit of sort of research and stuff that we can be doing.
I mean, 70 bands is great in anyone's book, especially what we've been through. I could see any number of bands, even one, I'd be happy right now. So to have 70 to look forward to and to research, I'm really looking forward to it.
I agree. Yeah, I'm with you, Neil. They could have announced at least just 10, and I'd have been excited by it. But again, 70. Yeah, now we've got quite a long time, 400 and something odd days now to research or to get to start to research these bands. I've 2 of the new ones that are on the lineup, As Everything Unfolds and Grandson. Grandson is a weird little act that I do recommend anybody just to check out and just to see. It's quite like it's almost like a Diane Towards sort of curveball, a Chase and Status sort of curveball sort of act. And yeah, honestly, I recommend just checking them out to see obviously if you like them or not. But I may check them out depending obviously if they have a big clash. And the other
Which
band,
stage are they on?
They are on.
They're on the Avalanche stage.
Okay.
Yeah, they're on Avalanche stage, which obviously they've not done the day splits or the running order yet, but yeah, they're on the Avalanche stage at some point over the weekend.
I'll have to check them out.
There are a couple of notable exceptions that they haven't announced yet. Obviously, they've got to leave a few names for later on in the year, but like from the main stage, there's Frank Carter, Gojira, Volbeat, Ailstorm. But whether they can or can't actually play next year, we don't really know yet. But
do you know what? Admittedly, throughout the comment sections, people are saying, "Where's Gojira? Where's Frank Carter? Where's XYZ?" And admittedly, at first, I lost my shit a little bit. Where the fuck have Gojira gone? And then I took a step back away from my phone and just thought, there's still about another 30 acts to announce, 30, 40 acts to announce. So touch wood, cross my fingers. They're still on the lineup.
Do they have a tour planned or announced?
No, but they released a new album today, the 30th of April. Well,
maybe they're waiting to announce their own tour first before they announce the rescheduled date or something.
If they have a tour coming up at the end of this year or beginning of 2022, I'm going to lose my shit and book tickets straight away. The other band that was announced that wasn't on the lineup in the last 2 years or the last 2 tries, As Everything Unfolds, I checked them out straight away because I didn't know who they were. And if I had to describe them anything, it's sort of a mix between Paramore and the Architects. So if you like either of those 2 bands, definitely recommend checking them out. Another big thing for me was they are homegrown heroes for me. I checked out their Twitter page. They're from Buckinghamshire.
Are they?
So I have to see them.
Yeah.
The fact that, exactly. The fact they're a good band is by the by. The fact they're from Buckinghamshire as well as a good band is just all the more better. They are on the Dogtooth stage. And it looks like they're by the poster, obviously, I know we haven't got the day splits or the running order, but and obviously they're not in alphabetical order either, and they are sort of at the end of the list, which to me makes me think maybe they might be on early on the Dogtooth stage.
Most likely, I'll see them because I spend most of my time at the Dogtooth stage for whatever reason. I love the stuff that goes on in there, so I shall look forward to seeing them. Now, there's a lot of plans being made for future tours and festivals to come, but we have had some cancellations or postponements of festivals, which is a shame. We've got a few there that have cancelled, haven't we?
Yeah, so Boomtown, which at face value for Boomtown, it wouldn't be something that I'd go to. I don't know about you two.
What's the difference?
So Boomtown, they do have a sort of a rock metal sort of area, if you like, and I think Gojira have played, Venom Prison have played, Baby Metal have played. So they do have some metal and alternative acts played. Skindred, I think they played last time. So they do have sort of a metal and alternative sort of stage and area, but it's mostly sort of dance music and almost like underground dance sort of stuff. Yeah, I mean, so if you're into that, great. Boomtown's for you. It's on the same weekend as Bloodstock, which is still going ahead, but we'll talk about it in a sec. Also, 2000 Trees, Tech Fest, and Amplified Fest, they are all sort of alternative, prog, metal, rock sort of festivals. And the Tech Fest announcement was today, saying they couldn't go ahead. And basically, I think it's to do with almost the insurance that they weren't given from the government.
Oh, yes, yeah. In case they have to extend the lockdown or anything else happens.
Yeah, I think it's the same for 2000 Trees as well. No, 2000 Trees was cancelled because despite it being in July, so it's after the roadmap, there were a lot of overseas bands, notably Jimmy Eat World, big pop punk band, like late 90s, early 2000s, would have been a band that I'd see if they were at Download. But obviously being from overseas, and obviously the American COVID situation is getting better like ours is, but there's still no guarantee they'd be able to come over to the UK in July. So they basically said, we'll have to cancel, but we'll take all the bands that we've got, or most of the bands that we've got, onto next year. And all the tickets that were bought for 2021, obviously 2020 as well, will get rolled over.
That's the thing, isn't it? Because no matter how well we do with our vaccination situation, you know, if people are doing okay, there isn't that high a level of COVID in the UK, we're dealing with other countries and other bands who live in other countries who have a different situation. And there's no guarantee that those restrictions on travel are going to be lifted by then. In fact, they probably won't be, will they?
Not this year. I mean, I'm obviously praying by the end of this year, the travel restrictions, again, being the last thing to be lifted, will be the end of this year. But like we say, we don't know what other countries' situations are going to be like as well. I mean, India, they're looking at 400 to 500,000 cases a day at the minute. They're really struggling.
And hasn't Europe just gone into another lockdown as well?
They've had a third or second wave. So a lot of the countries in Europe are obviously having to do another solid lockdown.
So a lot of European bands that would have come over for Download that would have happened this year, they wouldn't have been able to come over anyway, would they?
No. Again, if Download was going ahead in June, do you know what? Even thinking about it now, saying that, it sounds so silly. It definitely wouldn't have gone ahead because, again, the Americans, whilst they are doing okay with their vaccination program, and we're doing all right with ours. Like you say, if Europe isn't catching us up, then yeah, you're taking out a massive chunk of Download Festival, especially.
Exactly. So we've got a few postponements until next year. So along with Download Festival facing the reality of the situation as it is right now. But we do have festivals that are going ahead this year. I guess they must be smaller festivals with mainly British bands.
Well, apart from Reading and Leeds, I think you're on the money there. Bloodstock, which I am going to in August, and I'm really excited by. One of the last announcements they made, they also added in, we are booking predominantly British bands. There's a lot of talent in the UK, and they want to showcase that. And I mean, I've got the lineup in front of me. As British bands go, you got Judas Priest, Saxon, Wild Heart, Skin Dread, Venom Prison. Napalm Death.
They're amazing.
Raging Speedhorn, all on the Bloodstock lineup over the weekend. And I mean, even some of the bands, Bury Tomorrow, again, they were a big popular band at Download.
I'd be happy with that, though. To be really honest, I would go to that.
It does show, and again, I spoke with my wife about this. That basically, we do have a lot of talent when it comes to metal, prog, metalcore, all those sorts of genres. We have so much talent in the UK, and festivals like Bloodstock and even Damnation are doing their best to book those bands to basically give them a lift up. Bloodstock as well, they do a competition, a Battle of the Bands, Metal to the Masses, it'll be July this year, where basically, all unsigned bands, or again, your pub bands, battle it out to play on what's the unsigned tent at Bloodstock. So, I mean, it shows that they are really committed to showing off, I suppose, the British talent.
Would you go to Bloodstock, Dave?
I would actually, but it's always the same weekend as Boardmasters, which is like a Cornish festival, like kind of indie drum and bass kind of festival. So the town where I live in just gets slaughtered with many thousands of people. So I'm usually working.
Oh, I see. Right, yeah.
Yeah. But I'd love to go to Bloodstock one day, though.
Yeah, me too, actually. I mean, it's a possibility for this year, isn't it? I guess, because I haven't got to pay for download.
Tickets are still available, but they're only available for, say, your general camping. If you wanted to slum it in VIP like me, they're all sold out, unfortunately.
Whereabouts is it?
It's in Derbyshire.
Oh, so again, well, that's not too far away from me.
It's literally down the road from Download.
It's down the road from Download?
Yeah, yes. Actually, do you know what? I was going to mention this before. My potential new house is closer to Download. So I've only got like an hour's drive now. I was really excited by that point.
For that once a year trip that you'll make.
Again, this is one of the reasons why I'm quite excited today. We've just put an offer into a house that's an hour away from Download.
Oh, great. Out of interest, where's that going to be?
It's in Bicester, which is just it's in Oxford.
It's Oxford.
It's just off of it's just outside
the M40.
The A43 to get into 42. Northampton.
Oh right.
It's not that. It's not.
I know.
Country.
I don't know why I'm doing the voice.
You're doing Dave's accent.
I don't know
That's
why.
Dave.
I don't know.
Does that mean we'll be slumming it at yours on the Tuesday night then?
Well, I'm not that fucking close. No.
It'd be further for me to go to that.
It would be, exactly. You'd come further down south. Anyway, Dave, you're supposed to be seeing. You've got a gig on the Tuesday before Download again.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it's worked out.
You're
great
joking. Me, not another one.
Well, it's Bad Religion who have played at Download before,
and I'm not waiting up for you this time. Obviously, we've got separate rooms this time. I'm not waiting up for you. That was fucking torture.
No, that's fine. I mean, I should be able to get up there in good time anyway. So we'll be able to have a few drinks before or something.
No, I don't want to. Fuck you. You're going to another gig. Sod you.
Fuck you. You can come too if you want. It's not sold out yet.
I don't like Bad Religion.
So there are other festivals happening: Reading and Leeds, Bloodstock, Altfest London, which I haven't heard of.
Because it's brand new.
Is it?
It got announced today. It's on Bank Holiday weekend in August. The same weekend that Reading and Leeds is going ahead. So the main takeaway from this one was that the Architects are headlining Saturday, which I'm seeing Architects in February anyway. But again, it makes me think, are they doing that Saturday slot in London and then doing sort of the Friday and the Sunday at Reading and Leeds?
So there are other festivals which have sold out for this year. In fact, most of them have sold out. Truck Festival, which I like the look of, actually. If I could just, if anyone wants to sort of give me a leg up and I'll sneak over the fence. Joking, because I really want to see Royal Blood at that, because they're headlining.
I think there are some VIP tickets left and they're quite cheap in comparison to download.
Are they? Well, what am I getting?
I don't bloody know.
I don't bloody know.
I don't. Sorry. I'll go again. I don't know, Neil.
You don't know?
No. Or I did double check for your sake, because I know you're a big Royal Blood fan, and I was I went onto their VIP link just to check if they had tickets, and I think I messaged you saying they did. So it'd be worth just double checking that.
I'll have a look at Truck.
One more thing about Royal Blood.
Yes.
New album out today. How was it? I haven't listened to it yet.
It's great. I mean, if to be honest, what I was going to do is cover this in the last piece of news. So we'll probably cover that in a little while. But I do plan to talk about it. So yeah, we've also got Reading and Leeds, which has definitely sold out. That is sold up. And there's Damnation as well, which is sold out as well.
Yeah, that's it's if you don't know Damnation, it's a smaller one-day festival at Leeds University Student Union.
That sounds like it's going to be absolutely tiny, though.
It's about 5,000.
Is it?
Couple of stages. I think they've got 2 stages. I've been to Leeds Uni Student Union. It is very big.
Because when you say student union, it's funny. The first thing that comes to mind is the bar, like a sort of little pub or something. You know, but I've never actually been there, so I don't know what it looks like.
It's so the student union I had when I was in Leeds was like a rinky-dink sort of pub bar, but the Leeds University Student Union is fucking massive.
Is it?
Again, I don't know what the student union is like in Manchester if you've ever been, but the Leeds one, and even the one in Bucks in High Wycombe, you could definitely have a couple of gigs in there.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's me told. I'll have to look at that. When's that happening? Actually, is that soon?
It's this 6th of November, so they are well into autumn.
Okay.
But again, they're still worrying that they're not going to be able to go ahead, depending on obviously the UK situation. Damnation have got a podcast that they do with Bloodstock now. It's Damnation versus Bloodstock, and both directors from both festivals talk about their own festivals, their own experiences, behind the scenes stuff. They recently did one regarding the British bands and how to organise it, etc., etc. If either of you have got a few minutes spare, I'd recommend looking them up on YouTube.
Okay. So there's an odd thing where people who have bought tickets for download have had them cancelled. You know, when we talked about having them rolled over for the year after. Yeah. So they were expecting them to be valid for 2022, but then suddenly received a refund. I panicked and checked on my tickets and managed to find some old tickets that were cancelled. And I thought, oh my God, I haven't had a refund, but my tickets aren't there. But no, it's fine. I booked them through one of the other different systems that Download uses to book tickets. So I'm fine.
Honestly, I when you messaged me about that, I honestly shit myself because I thought, oh Christ, what's happened? I had my Twitter up, ready to start bollocking Ticketmaster. Like, what the fuck have you done?
Well, I don't understand why they've got. What is it? They've got Front Gate and they've got Ticketmaster, which actually is the same thing, but it's different. Why? I'm not sure why they've got two different. Maybe it's to, I don't know, prioritize Download Festival somehow, and
don't know. I haven't got a solid answer for you on that one because I just don't know. But I mean, it's like I said to you, double check front gate, then go from there. Because I had my refresh retreat thing cancelled for 2020 when I was doing refresh retreat. When I was doing standard general camping. So when I looked onto my Ticketmaster, it said it was still there, but it said it's been cancelled, rebook for 2022, and that's what I assumed you had seen as well.
Yeah, it's a pretty poor show actually, cancelling people's tickets when they've asked for them to be rolled over, and I hope that people have got rightfully angry at them for doing that, and because they have been sending out. The other thing I want to say is that Ticketmaster is awful to get hold of. If you've got a problem, it's difficult to get hold of a person that can actually help you. You can't ring them up.
Sorry, I have a theory or a actual proven method that actually works.
Go on.
Publicly tweet them. If you publicly tweet them about how much they fucked up, they will respond incredibly quickly.
Really?
They don't like being seen in bad light. See, no company wants to be.
No.
But every time that I have tweeted them saying this has gone wrong, because something happens every fucking year.
Does it really?
With Ticketmaster, something always goes wrong. I mean, we shouldn't badmouth them like this, but I mean, there are some occasions where they. Oh God, I don't know. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be diplomatic in as best as I can. But yeah, I mean,
they need to own it. It's really bad. I mean, people have been looking forward to download for 2 years now, and then to have their tickets refunded when they've asked it for it to be rolled over. I think it's awful service. No,
I agree. And again, the method that I have used, it does work. They do get back to you quite quickly. They're always sending me. They'll send me a DM straight away saying, "Please fill out this form. We'll get back to you as quickly as we can." And within a few days, the problem is resolved, or I'm able to speak to someone. So publicly tweeting them and complaining works.
Right. So bear that in mind if that's happened to you, because I have been reading that people haven't been able to get this rectified, or some people have been able to get it rectified and it's now sorted. They've received a code to rebuy their tickets at the original price. But what a situation to put people through.
Oh, I know. Again, if as if the coronavirus and all this last nearly year and a half was stressful enough, throwing that into the mix.
Absolutely. The one thing that people are looking forward to. So hopefully if you're affected by that, then you've got a little bit of a solution there. So I've had some great news in that Royal Blood, who is my favourite band in the world ever, have announced a 2022 tour. They're doing an arena tour, which it's going to be the biggest shows they've ever done, they said. And today their new album has dropped, Typhoons, which dropped at midnight last night, and got my physical copy and my digital copy and a couple of t-shirts. I love a bit of merch. And I could not be happier. I love the new direction that they've gone in. It is more dancey. They have talked about it being a bit more dancey, just purely because Ben Thatcher, the drummer, was drumming away, and they happen to be a bit more up-tempo sort of beats, sort of a bit more rhythmic whilst they were jamming. And Mike Kerr, the bassist and vocalist, was riffing over it, and it just ended up being stuff that you could dance to and was more sort of up-tempo. He also is talking about being sober for the last couple of years in his lyrics. Any other fans of Royal Blood will know that Boilermaker, the fan favourite Boilermaker, which they only performed at their live gigs, since the last couple of years, is now recorded and available. Boilermaker is by far people's favourite track and the most anticipated, to the point where when Royal Blood were posting on Instagram, on every post, people would say either come to Brazil or release Boilermaker. And they've actually released some merch that says release Boilermaker in honour of the fact that people would constantly ask them for it. And now, it's not the same version actually as we've heard on the live tour, but there is live versions available if you know where to look. So I'm going to be going to see them in Manchester, and if I can see them again, actually, I will do. If I can see them elsewhere, because I've seen them 3 times so far over the years, and it's a great gig every time.
How much are they paying you to say that? Because that was an incredible promo. I must say myself.
Listen, I have indulged myself. I have bathed in royal blood for the last few weeks in the countdown to this album.
That sounds really sadistic. You've bathed in royal blood.
Yes.
What? Is that what you've been doing? You've been bathing in the royal blood.
Anyway, so I just love them. I always have since the first album. I just think that raw sound of distorted bass, which he plays like a guitar, and those amazing drums. That I just love it. That's the one band that I follow. Like, you know, there's people who are absolutely fanatic about certain bands, and I never used to be like that. I used to just like sort of anything really, but now I don't know what it is really about Royal Blood, apart from the fact that the singer's quite dishy.
Right. That's all it is, isn't it? You fancy the singer, and that's it.
No, but they're great though. They really are.
Hey, do you know what I do? I keep catching one of the songs on the radio, and I keep thinking I need to find out what it is, so obviously so we can discuss it and talk about it. But you mentioned 2 things there that are really important. Well, the first one's not essential, but I thought it was a good point. You say he plays his bass like a guitar. One other very famous, unfortunately dead now, one very other famous bassist used to do the same thing. Lemmy from Motorhead used to play his bass with chords as if he was playing a guitar, and fuck me, it works. How good Motorhead are, and obviously how good Royal Blood are, it works.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of pedals involved as well, and there's actually the new album involves keyboards and backing vocals and others, so it's going to be a different experience to see them live, because before, I mean, I know they were playing along to a click track for various bits and bobs, especially after the second album with some more keyboards in it. But this one really there's a lot of keyboards in practically every song. And there's a reason why people are saying it's sort of disco-y, because there's a lot more instrumentation to it, and it's sort of layered. It does sound a lot more produced than their first 2 albums, which were very sort of stripped back.
Yeah,
which I really love that sound of basically a set of drums, bass guitar, and screamy vocals. I just love it. So I mean, obviously, I haven't listened to it yet, so obviously I can't make the comparison. But it's the same at the minute. I think it must be something quite popular within, again, the rock and metal sort of world, because the Architects have done the same sort of thing in their latest album. It's not as it's like you say, a bit more dancey sort of vibes to it. And again, the Architects do it really, really well. They have worked together.
There you fucking go. That's why both albums then are that bloody good.
Yeah, I mean, like anything, there are people who are complaining about the fact that they have changed direction.
Stop. Fuck it, just stop.
I don't read them anymore.
It's the same with going back on to the download forums and the Facebook pages. Whilst we all say the metal community, the rock community, we're such a good little family, fuck me, do they moan?
Oh my God, yeah.
It's and I mean, it's so unnecessary. If you don't like something, fucking great. You don't have to share every opinion you have. I mean, it benefits nobody. It's not going to benefit, again, complaining about something online. It's not going to benefit you. You're not going to look like, oh, I'm an amazing critic. No, you're just a fucking dick.
Yeah, there was a topic on the Royal Blood fans group that I read, which was, which track are you most disappointed by? Fuck off.
That's just unnecessary, man. I mean, again, it's as... Do you know what? It's like Bring Me the Horizon. their earlier stuff was more up my alley. Again, quite raw, heavy, screaming, guttural sort of growling screams. And I really enjoyed it. Then the couple of albums after it, they went in a different direction, and people lost their shit. Apart from the diehard fans, some people lost their shit, saying that basically Bring Me the Horizon is shit. They're not. They're allowed to change direction. They're allowed to evolve. and
they're not going to make the same album over and over again, are they?
No. Again, even the best bands don't always stay the same. My favorite band, obviously, the way that you follow Royal Blood is the same way that I follow Korn.
Yes.
And their sound is totally different than back in 1994 when they released their first album.
And you know what? I'd hope so as well. Because if they were just still churning out the same record over and over again, I would be very disappointed.
Exactly. And I watched that. I watched Korn's Monumental, the live stream. One, it wasn't live at all. It had been edited and all sorts. But having said that, the way that they had done it, it was absolutely amazing. They had played tracks that I've never seen live before, and I've seen them a good handful of times now, and it was fantastic. It was a paid event, and I mean, a lot of people say, "Oh, you can find it on YouTube now. Why'd you pay for it?" Because it's fucking Korn. That's why.
Yeah, support your favorite artists.
Exactly. Oh, and you've reminded me about one of the other points I was going to make. You bought merch for Royal Blood, and that is so, especially now, at the minute when nobody's being able to play, that is so vital, because these artists aren't getting the money from ticket sales. Buying their merchandise is so important. I bought a T-shirt from Korn with this Monumental ticket. I still haven't received that. I imagine it's stuck in bloody customs somewhere because of fucking Brexit, but hey ho.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I buy Envision merchandise all the time. A quote from The Simpsons. So I'm putting them through college.
Oh
basically.
yeah.
Oh no, I'm putting their kids through college.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just so important though to be able to try and support these bands, because again, even though the likes of Korn again have probably made their millions and just lapping it up, but again, they're one of my favorite bands, so why wouldn't I buy their merch?
Dave, do you follow any particular bands?
The way that you're both talking about those two bands, I'd probably say Coheed and Cambria.
Oh yes, you do like them, don't you?
Yeah, I've seen them. Probably the band that I've seen the most. I even went on holiday to New York a few years ago to see them.
Did
and they
you?
did like.
Do you know what? That's dedication. That's dedication,
yeah.
man. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love that.
Yeah, me and my friends were sort of tentatively talking about going on holiday somewhere, and then they announced this tour. And then one of my other favorite bands, the Deer Hunter, were supporting them. So I was like, we got to do it. There's,
Wow. And I guess
they've got some. Sorry. Yeah, I've got a lot of CDs and vinyls and stuff.
Merch.
But yeah, they put out some bangers though. Yeah. Hopefully they'll be back at Download again soon.
Oh, are they not announced?
Well, they played a couple of times. They played, I think the last time they played was 2017 or 18, which was the year they were doing their one of their albums from start to finish.
Oh, right. Was that on? I think I remember seeing them. I think that was on the second stage, was it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Okay. And finally, we have news about a gig that actually happened in Liverpool. Now, this is it was one of these tester gigs that we've been hearing about. There was no masks. Ticket holders are going to take a lateral flow test, which produces fast results in 30 minutes at a local testing centre. And it was just a real gig, near normal is the way they described it. 5,000 people went there. Blossoms headlined, not strictly a metal band, to be honest, but it's still, I think, significant for us to know about that they're actually doing these tests. So attendees needed to provide a negative COVID-19 test prior to going in. So they didn't actually do any testing there. You had to turn up with a negative test. So the venue was at 2/3 of its 7,500 capacity. So that was at Sefton Park in Liverpool. So we're getting closer. Looking forward to seeing the results of that. I mean, I don't know how we'd find that out, to be honest, but it's good that it's happening. You know, they're thinking about it. They're putting gigs on, and fans of Blossoms and the Lathams and Zuzu will be very happy, I'm sure. So next, we're going to get some advice about going to Download in the guide. In this section, we'll try and answer your questions about what it's like to go to Download Festival, things we recommend, and things to avoid. We're going to talk about R.I.P.
Well, you're going to talk about R.I.P. because you're the only one out of the three of us that's actually been.
Yeah, exactly. Rest in peace, as in VIP, which for a lot of festivals, it varies wildly. I know that Bloodstock is, they take a different approach to VIP or R.I.P. because it's a different size festival. I think Download has a lot more cash so that they can spend on nice little extras. So, for example, in R.I.P., if you've never been before, you don't actually have to pay for a locker. That's just one of the things there. They do have like a container with lockers in it, the same ones that you find in ordinary camping, but they're just available. You can just walk in and stick a lock on a locker, and that's your locker. However, if you haven't got a lock, you can pay for one, and they're the same locks that you would have used on the locks in regular camping. So if you've still got one of those, you can use that and take a locker without paying for it. But then you have paid more for your R.I.P. ticket, so I think it's kind of balances out. There's a lot of nice little extras like that.
Well, I mean, obviously, this 2022 will be my first time ever doing it, so obviously I've tried to look into it as much as possible to get just to know exactly what I'm getting myself in for. And one of the things that I'm looking forward to is I know they've got Air of the Dog pub in the tent in general camping, but the R.I.P. is actually a proper pub inside, heating and everything,
oh, yes.
sort of pub, which I again is one of the perks I'm looking forward to.
To be honest, I spent zero time in there because I'd rather be, well, either with you guys or in the arena. But
well, see, that's in your defence. Yeah, the three of us at the time were all in general camping, whereas obviously you're not going to want to be stood around on your own in a pub, are you? I mean,
but they have bands on. It's a very large area, actually. It's quite a big pub. You get your breakfast in there as well. They sell food in there. It's part of the, I want to say farmhouse, but it's like a proper camping site.
It's called Park Farm, isn't it? Donington Park Farm. Yeah.
Yeah, so they've got proper like facilities and everything. So the toilets are not Portaloos. They are actual brick, toilets and showers and stuff. That, I mean, they do have to bring extra showers in, but to be honest, they're not they're not crappy showers. They're nice. It's all just nice, and that it really does make a difference when you're used to general camping and then you pay for R.I.P. and you see how much nicer it is. There's a reason why a lot of people who go R.I.P. don't go back to general camping, and they tend to be a little bit older than the younger sort of 20-year-olds who are perhaps in general camping.
So this is why when I did the VIP experience, the Serpent's Lair at Bloodstock, I've decided now if I do Download, I'm willing to spend the money now to continue to do the VIP experience. I've said this on one of the podcasts before. Once you've experienced a porcelain toilet at a festival, it's so much different, and it feels like home. Being on a proper loo, you can relax, not sat on a plastic seat that's
covered in shit.
Either covered in shit, has somebody else's bum sweat on it, and all sorts.
Bum sweat.
When they're straining really hard and they sweat.
Dave, have you ever paid for any of these R.I.P. options?
No, I've not been able to justify it personally. But you both did tell me about something the other day where you can
Oh
you can
yes,
visit the R.I.P.
I
campsite
remember.
for
I remember this.
you put down a deposit, and then
Sorry, Dave.
I'm able to come visit for a certain amount of time.
Yeah, like a prison visitor.
Yeah, we had a lengthy discussion about how we were going to do it, didn't we? And like you said, you pay a certain amount of deposit to get in, and then you can experience until the late evening. Sorry, you can experience what happens in the RIP area, whether it be, I think you're able to do the bawdy barbecue that's in the guest area on the Thursday. Obviously, you're allowed to experience the pub, and obviously have a wander around and just check it out. Because one day, David, we will get you into the RIP, and you will happily spend the money and see that it is justified.
I'll start saving now.
I think that it's more than just a deposit. I think there is a charge, isn't there? I think you spend so much as a whole, and you get some of it back when you leave, or something.
That's correct.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Right, yeah.
Which is fair enough, because otherwise people are just going to pitch up and sleep in your tent or whatever. People are just going to turn up and have the RIP experience for nothing. So I don't blame them. So what makes it different to general camping? It is a nicer patch of grass. It's not sort of lumpy and rocky.
Grass is always greener.
Well, it really is, because it's a proper campsite. It's looked after. You can actually go in a camper van, which I have done before. Rented a camper van, and you get access to a little PowerPoint thing, like a electric socket thing.
You're not doing that this year, are you? Or this time, sorry, are you?
Not this year, no, because the tickets are like rocking horse shit. They go so quickly, and because I wasn't planning to when I bought my tickets, I've no option now but not to. So a tent it is. And
who did you use? You used
Bumble Campers.
Ah, yeah. Oh, do you know what? Do you know? Despite not experiencing the ride along with you, and obviously it did look. It looked like a little bit of a good experience to try one day, like get yourself like a little camper like that and trying it out.
Well, the only reason I even went down that road is because in 2016 it bucketed down.
It did.
And I was so unhappy with walking around in the rain. I thought to myself, next year I'm going to have it a little bit nicer. I'm going to spend the money on myself and have a solid roof, a nice, comfortable bed to sleep in. And do you know what? I was the happiest I'd been in that situation. But actually, that year, it did not rain. And I didn't care, because I was in a nice little... Do you know, it's a lockable thing as well. You can actually lock the door and not have to worry about people going through your tent. That's nice. Now, there are a lot of options which you can go for when it comes... Like I say, you can do your camper van. There's Metal Meadow. There's sort of different areas, because I think they've had to expand R.I.P. because it is quite popular. Mm-hmm. They also do these little huts that you can sleep in.
And they look really good. I've seen again like the huts, or even like the I know you were listing them off. I apologize for jumping in. Right. The Airstream sort of almost like caravan trailer sort of things.
Oh, they look amazing. But I did get told that it's like a microwave when it's really hot. It gets so hot inside.
Oh, it's completely metal on the outside, isn't it? So I'm not really surprised.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if I fancy that. They look luxurious though. But I think they're really expensive. There's also like a sort of yurt. Is that the right word? A little sort of, that's quite a big tent thing.
Yeah. Yeah, you described it as it was. Yes, it's like a massive tent
with a bed in it, and
I think there's a few different options for that. There's the 2-person, 3 and 4. I think it can go up to 6. But yeah, it's just like a massive like teepee.
Yeah,
a canvas sort of teepee or something. It is. There was I did see a video on it on YouTube. This young lady and her friends had all stayed in there, and it looked quite good. It looked quite homely, and as if you buy a 6-person tent and you've got 6 people in there, it looks like a bit more of a fun time with if you've got close mates and you can all chill out in there yourselves.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's even got like cupboards, and it's quite nice actually. And there's also like these little sheds. They're not sheds, but they look like sheds to me that you can sleep in. That I've seen.
They are mini cabins, aren't they?
Cabins, that's the right word. And I think of the lot, that's probably what I would go for.
Did we pass those on the way to the car park?
We did.
Year? Or not?
We did.
Year, sorry.
They don't move. I think the where everything's situated for R.I.P. doesn't actually move that far. It's always in that sort of like patch of grass, just away from the guest area.
Yeah.
But they obviously changed the sort of shortcuts and stuff to get to the car park a couple of years ago, didn't they? And
yeah, they did.
I'm pretty sure that's where we walked.
100%.
To get a little sneak peek of them.
Yeah. The other thing that's nice about R.I.P. is that no matter where you've camped in R.I.P., it's very quick to get to the main arena. You have to go through a lot. Well, I mean, I'm comparing this to what Download used to be like, because in the future, so I'm told, everything is going to be very accessible, very quick to get to. But those campsites are still going to be massive, to get to the arena. But so when you're in R.I.P., it's a very quick walk. It's maybe 5 minutes walk from wherever you are to the arena. You go to the guest area first, where you can pay an inflated price for your drinks for no particular reason. It's an extra 50p. I don't know why. I never figured that one out. But it's guest area, so, nicer toilets. And it's there, practically. You come out down the bottom end of the arena to this. As you're looking at the stage, it's on the right there. So very quick. If you just want to nip back to your tent or back to your camper van or your shed because you've forgotten your sunglasses, that's going to take you 5-10 minutes. Rather than, there was no chance you were going to go back for your glasses, if you'd parked in blue camp or, white camp or something, because it's just too far away. It'd take you an hour.
One package that we didn't mention, have you seen the tour bus?
Oh, is that quite new? I
don't know if it's new, but it's something that I noticed when booking my tickets, when sorting my tickets out for 2021, I think it's an 8-person tour bus, which apparently has absolutely fucking everything you need in it. Like, again, I think I'm just going to double check, but I think there's even a shower in it.
A shower. Brilliant.
Here we go. Tour bus for 8.
I mean, you're talking millions of pounds, aren't you? It's not a cheap option.
Oh, no. Let's just double check this here. Tour bus for 8, price per person. Yeah, you're looking like 1,200 quid.
Wow.
The total cost for the entire package is 450 quid shy of 10 grand. Fucking hell.
Well, and that's if you get 8 people in.
But that's split between 8 people, so you have to have 8 people to buy the entire package. That's insane. Wow. But if you've got the money, fucking do it. I would.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, why not?
Do you get to keep the tour bus at the end?
Do you get to keep it?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Drive it
I'm
home.
I'm just looking at it now. There are 2 microwaves in there, sink, again, tables obviously for you to just sit in and obviously do whatever. It's almost like one of the tour. Obviously, I know you say tour bus. It's like a band tour bus.
You'd be so excited to do that, wouldn't you, if you got that?
Oh, definitely. Right, we need to get 5 more friends and spend 6 times the amount of a general camping ticket.
God, we're never going to get Dave in there, are we?
No. Oh, you've got to give a £50 refundable deposit as well.
Oh, just in case you piss the bed in a tour bus.
Can you imagine being in one of these top bunks and pissing the bed?
Oh my God.
Oh, crikey.
So all of R.I.P. You get to through a different entrance. Now these see, because they're changing things, the entrances may be different for 2022. But I reckon
I can confirm to you, R.I.P. isn't changing.
Okay.
The YouTube video that discusses the changes, it's only the campsites, the drop-off point, the village itself, and the general camping car parks. But I think access camping, disabled camping is changing a little bit as well. But R.I.P. No, it's all staying pretty much the same.
Okay, so you head for Park Farm,
or at least they've not said there's going to be any changes.
I can't imagine that they'll do much with it because they can't. They've got to be near the farmhouse.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, head for Park Farm. Usually, when I've been, there's been a much smaller queue. The great thing, actually, as well, is that you can park your car with your tent.
That's the best thing about that. I mean, and obviously, Dave, I will show off big time when we see you in general camping, but you get out of your car and set up your tent. It saves that ball ache of a walk.
Luxurious.
You what?
That does sound luxurious.
Hey, right? Me and Neil are going to be fucking balls deep in cider, right? Whilst you're setting up your tent, and we're just going to laugh at you.
Balls deep in who? Sorry?
In cider? I don't know if you've met him before.
I love that gag.
You love a gag? I bet you fucking do.
So the cost for this does vary depending on what you want. So you might be paying with your download ticket about £600 for an R.I.P. experience. But obviously, as you've heard, it does vary wildly. But I think for a nice, tent, grass experience, ordinary sort of R.I.P., we're looking at about £600. But they sell out quite quick. So if you're after that, I would actually go for that as soon as on the day that they come out, because you don't want to be stuck in general camping.
Yeah, so 4 of the options for R.I.P. have actually the 4 of the options of the R.I.P. have actually already sold out, which includes the Park Farm, Sleepy Hollow, pitch your own tent sort of style stuff, and 2 of the Metal Meadow options have gone as well. There's still loads of options. You can stay in one of the hotels by the airport if you want it, and then just walk in. Or I think there's a shuttle bus from those hotels in. But I mean, personally, I'd want to be on site. It doesn't matter if it, again, Metal Meadow, Park Farm, whatever. I'd want to be on site in the thick of it all.
And you get a goodie bag as well. I don't know if I mentioned that. You get a nice goodie bag full of little gifts, little download branded stuff. You get a T-shirt. Usually you get, I mean, I've had like a flask with download written on it, which is quite nice. Not a crappy one, like a nice metal one. It was quite nice. I got some download branded bog roll, which I think I've still got, actually. I don't think I ended up using it, but it's always nice to have an extra roll.
I wouldn't use it.
I know.
It just, I'd leave it in the loo. Obviously, it's bog roll, but I wouldn't use it. You tell guests who ever come over, don't use that bog roll.
Yeah, I know.
Don't use the fancy bog roll.
Fancy, yeah, exactly. You get you get a program with it and a lanyard. So a lot of the stuff that you would spend money on in terms of merch and little extras like a T-shirt, lanyard, program, you actually get as part of your R.I.P. Ticket. Which does make a lot more sense when you think about what you would ordinarily spend at download anyway. I know people who take hundreds of pounds to download and then get robbed. But
I'm fucking waiting for that.
So, wouldn't you rather just pay the money for an R.I.P. ticket that you would have spent anyway on stuff separately? I mean, I would.
So this is good that we're talking about this, like this little discussion, because obviously, as Dave said, he says he can't justify doing it, which is fine. Again, all the more to you. That's your choice. I'm on the flip side, and I agree with you, Neil. That you're paying that extra money, but you are getting bits and pieces that you would usually buy anyway. again, you mentioned you got a bottle, I think in 2017,
Yeah, a really nice one.
Which I remember you using, and you filled it with Jack Daniels.
I did.
Fair play. And that particular bit of merch, if I'm not mistaken, that was around 25 quid. Obviously, it doesn't make up to £600 for your ticket compared to 250. Can you just hang on a sec? Hello.
Oh, sorry, I just wanted to be really awkward and talking when you were talking.
Oh, you want to interrupt me?
Yeah, I just wanted to be a pain in the backside.
Well, you've succeeded.
Sorry.
Thank you, dear.
There's an insight into the life of Lee.
Married life.
It's just like normal life, mate. We just signed a bit of paper.
Oh God! But now you're legally binding, aren't you? Anyway,
fucking hell, I'm trying to fall. We're about the bottle, weren't we?
I got some nice stuff. I got some. I mean, stuff that, to be honest, because it's a goodie bag, you're not expecting. So I mean, I was expecting a T-shirt and my lanyard in my program, but they put surprises in every year. I got a towel one year. I got a nice download printed towel, which I've never used it just because it's too nice to use. But if you want to use it like to lay on or something, it's you get some really nice bits and bobs that you wouldn't get the option to buy even in the merch store.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think the towel actually was available at the merch store.
No, it wasn't. It's to save things for R.I.P. To make you feel special.
Yeah. So again, that's one thing I'm looking forward to is that sort of extra little care package, as well as obviously as we've mentioned, the nicer showers, the porcelain toilets,
that clean as well, and with bog roll.
Yep. Yeah, and again, after doing the other VIP experience at Bloodstock, it's that comfort that you're not far away from the actual arena. So if you like you say, if you do, oh fuck, I forgot my glasses. You can literally run back, get them, and come back before the band starts. If you do that in general camping, despite the fact that everything's been moved closer to the arena, so they say,
it's still going to take you ages.
It will. I mean, again, I know that I think they were bragging that it's from the edge of a campsite into the arena. It takes 7 minutes from a straight fucking line. But then if you work out actually how long it'll get there, it could be longer.
Well, you'll be going against the flow of people as well if you're going back for something. But if you don't like queuing, R.I.P. is definitely the way to go because there's less queues for everything. No matter what time in general camping that you get up, from my experience, there's a queue for pretty much everything: toilets, showers, food, merch, everything. But in R.I.P., you pretty much, because it's such a smaller place and there's so fewer people in there, you're pretty much straight in wherever you want to go. So you'll not queue for a shower, you'll not queue for a toilet, you'll not queue for a locker. You're straight into places. And that, I think, is worth the money, definitely.
I'm with you, if I'm totally honest. Again, that's why I booked it. I'm really excited for the new download experience for myself.
And I think you're right to do that. Have we not changed your mind at all, Dave? Because you've been very quiet.
Maybe. We'll see. Maybe in 2023.
Okay.
Oh fuck me! Are we planning 2023 already? We haven't even got to when the festival was in 2021 yet.
That does sound good. Not having to queue.
Oh, definitely. Because
that is one of the big bugbears of general camping.
Well, because I think you'd said that the capacity in the capacity in the arena was something like 105, 110,000.
Yeah, well, the other day, Andy Copping was a guest on the Crowcast, which is fuck's sake, what's the band called?
Those Damn Crows.
Yeah.
Oh, a band podcast.
Yeah, those Damn Crows. They did basically what a lot of bands and what a lot of people have done in lockdown was start doing a podcast
to stay in touch with fans.
Yeah.
So that them Dan Crows today did their usual Crowcast, and Andy Copping was a guest on it, and he mentioned that one year, I think it was when I might be recording this wrong, but I think it was when Slipknot first headlined, and everyone was saying that they shouldn't have headlined or whatever. But apparently that year it was their like record attendance, and it was like over 105,000 people or something.
Wow. Yeah, I've never seen crowds like it for Slipknot. Absolutely, I can believe it. So when you've got that many people queuing for the toilet at the same time between bands, you really feel the benefit of R.I.P. It is things like that, moments like that you think, God, I'm glad I've got this ticket. I'm glad I spent the money. So if you can afford it, I recommend it, definitely. Next up, we're going to get your thoughts on Download in Your Say. In this section, we'll find out what's coming out of your mouth on social media. We've got some of your replies to our question online when we asked which 3 acts would you choose to headline Download, because it's a hot topic. Everyone's got thoughts on this, and you certainly satisfied our question. There was a lot of replies on Facebook, actually, which we've got to choose from here. Do
you know what? I'm just scrolling through now, and fuck me, yeah, there's a few.
Yeah,
so thank you very much.
Yeah, everyone's got thoughts on this. Katie Smith wants Alice in Chains, Guns N' Roses, and Metallica to headline.
Oh, I'd love Metallica to play again, because I've never seen them.
I haven't.
They are. I mean, whilst a lot of people do bang on about how good Metallica are, there's a reason for it. And I know, obviously, not seeing them before, it's one of those bands that I would love to see. Dave, you saw them at Twickenham, didn't you?
Yeah, they were really good there. I'd love to see Alice in Chains, because even though they've been going, since the early 90s, now that they've had a bit of a hiatus, obviously, once the singer died, but now that their new singer pretty much sounds like 99% the same, and they're still banging out some classic tunes.
Raymond Turpin wants Parkway Drive, Green Day, and AC/DC to headline.
I'd love that. You've got such variety in that, and I think that'd be amazing. Obviously, AC/DC, the last time they headlined, this was mentioned on Those Damn Crows podcast with Andy Coppin as well. It was well documented that AC/DC brought their own stage, and they had 2 stages in the main arena, where, like, side by side, where the main stage would be. There was 2 stages, which I just think that's incredible.
The only thing I've got about that is Brian Johnson, wasn't he told to stop performing, otherwise he'd go deaf? And that's why he retired, or something like that. That's what I heard. I don't know where I heard that or read that, but that's...
Yeah, I'm not sure if they had to cancel a few shows a few years ago because of that, and obviously Malcolm Young has sadly passed away now as well. But they've got a new album just released at the end of last year, I think it was.
Right.
Or early this year, I can't remember now.
Speaking of artists going deaf, have you seen the film Metal Sound?
No.
Do
No,
it.
not yet.
Honestly, do it.
Sound...
It's absolutely brilliant. Yes, on Amazon Prime in a minute. So
I've seen a trailer, actually.
It's absolutely...
Sound of Metal, isn't it?
The Sound of Metal or Metal Sound or something.
The Sound of Metal, yeah.
Yeah. Watch it. It is fucking brilliant. It's I want to say Riz Ahmed. I think that's his name.
Yeah, he's really good. He's been loads.
He's fantastic. And yeah, I couldn't praise it more. It's a brilliant film. So if you haven't seen it and want a new sort of rock music, metal music film to watch, crack on with that.
There's a lot of people suggesting Green Day in this list, but there's a lot of people also not happy with the idea of Green Day. I mean, I'd quite happily go and watch Green Day. Would you?
Oh, definitely. I'm actually quite. They're doing was it the Hella Mega Tour with Weezer and Fall Out Boy,
Oh, brilliant.
and I'd have loved to have gone to that. I think I was a bit too late to try and book tickets for it. But again, yeah, but Green Day, they were massive when we were all younger, and yeah, I'd absolutely love to see them.
Any of these suggestions on this list jumping out at you, Dave?
Sue Winnington says Scorpions, Ghost, and Taiketo.
I wondered if you'd pick that one up.
I know. Do you know what? I had a feeling. I had a feeling he would.
Big Ghost. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely been a big topic on the forums and stuff whether they're big enough to headline, but maybe in a couple of years, because they're just getting bigger and bigger and bigger compared to where they started, and they'd be a perfect fit for Download as well.
I think so too.
Whilst this is a hot topic regarding the likes of Ghost and the other upcoming bands, Parkway Drive, Bring Me the Horizon, Architects, I think all the bands that I've mentioned need to do what Parkway Drive did in 2018: smash the second stage, and then go up to that higher either sub main stage slot or actually a main stage headliner slot. A lot of people disagree with me, thinking they deserve it now, but I think you need to give them a little bit more time. Whilst
probably headline, like you say, headline the second stage, or at least be sub to someone else like Iron Maiden or someone similar.
Well, again, Ghost have already supported Metallica and headlined Bloodstock. Parkway Drive have headlined Bloodstock and actually smashed it out of the park. So we know for a fact they can perform to at least a 20,000 person crowd. Obviously, Twickenham's bigger than the Bloodstock festival, but still, it shows they can do it. It's whether or not Andy Coppin is willing to take the gamble and do it sooner rather than later. And we don't want them to unfortunately, end up likes of Korn, who should have headlined when they were huge. I mean, in the 90s and the early 2000s, when they were huge, instead of now, they are your safe, reliable sub slot on the main stage.
Oscar Brewster is suggesting Queens of the Stone Age, Faith No More, and Iron Maiden, which I think is quite a solid headline lineup.
Yeah, agreed. I definitely
variety.
Yeah, again, another solid suggestion. Queens of the Stone Age are actually at Reading and Leeds this year. So if you've got a ticket, you lucky devils.
You're lucky devils.
Faith No More have headlined before, I think. They did it with 2009. Again, they're the who subbed them, Limp Bizkit and Korn. But yeah, I mean, Faith No More definitely have the ability to headline. But again, massive band in the 90s and late 80s. And obviously, Iron Maiden, the headline in 2022.
Nazim Bayram is suggesting Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes, Idols, and Pearl Jam.
I hope Frank Carter gets re-announced for next year.
Yeah.
But we'll just have to keep our fingers crossed on that.
I mean, I don't really see them as a headline act, to be honest, but maybe I'm mistaken. I mean, I don't know how big their following is, to be honest, but I really rate them. I think they're great.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I got my fingers crossed for them to be back onto the lineup as well. Like Gojira and potentially the Offspring. I agree with you that the slot they've been given, I think, is absolutely perfect. You get an hour long on the main stage in front of potentially upwards of 60,000 people, depending on obviously if anybody else is at the other stages. But I've watched a couple of his shows in Ali Pali on YouTube, and he holds a crowd brilliantly.
Yeah, I've seen one or two performances and been very impressed, actually. I'd definitely go and watch them. But I think the thing when you're Andy Copping is you've got to think, what's going to sell 100,000 tickets?
And this is what people don't seem to take consideration when their favourite bands don't get announced. Again, he's announcing, he's giving us bands that we know can sell 100,000 tickets. Again, it's why I want Metallica back, because we know they can sell. They sold out Twickenham and the Etihad Stadium in Manchester, so you know they can. And if they were willing to come back to a festival slot, again, Download, hopefully be the perfect one. Don't want them at Glastonbury. Don't want them at Reading and Leeds, purely because I won't be able to get a ticket for them. Download, for me, would be the perfect place to have them. It's like, again, AC/DC. I mean, you go back to 2010, you could sell the festival out with the likes of AC/DC.
Foo Fighters, for God's sake. Foo Fighters!
Oh, Christ, yes, absolutely. Did you... Oh, this is one thing I wanted to talk about, actually. Did you see on Facebook, the forums, Reddit, everywhere, that fake lineup that got... that someone thought they'd seen?
I saw that, yeah.
Oh, bloody hell. That was just... I mean, that was just drama.
For anyone who didn't see that, what did it consist of?
Okay, so... Someone did a mock-up of it later on in the day, but I think it's basically someone said they had seen, or their wife had seen.
Their wife had seen.
Yeah, this is where it lost all credibility. The minute he said, "Oh, my wife's quite good at this," she saw, and I thought, okay, cool. You could have said your cousin's brother's dog had seen it, and I still wouldn't have believed you. He'd said that Biffy Clyro had moved into a sub-slot with Iron Maiden, and that Muse or Foo Fighters was now doing the Sunday slot. Now, as amazing as that would be, either Foo Fighters or Muse being there, it was just so unrealistic.
Why do people make this stuff up?
Because we're talking about it. That's all it is. It could be for the lols.
For attention.
Yeah, exactly. This person was absolutely so adamant that it was going to happen, until the announcement was then made about the announcement coming in the day after. He even said, "Oh, I can't wait to see if there's going to be egg on everybody's faces that told me this was wrong." And I was just like, mate, I'm that confident. I will tattoo the Download dog on my backside.
People do that anyway, to be fair.
They do, but again, I haven't got a tattoo on my body. And I tell you, here's something you're going to laugh at. I told my wife I was going to do it, and she said, "No, you're fucking not." I was like, "Ah." But
Why can't you have a Download dog on your ass? I think that's a nice tribute.
I don't think she'd be too happy seeing a dog on my bum.
But it's Download dog.
Yeah, we've all got different feelings about Download.
Oh,
that's the thing.
Well, how many people are going to see your ass?
Wouldn't you like to know?
There's a list.
100,000 people.
And this is the moment I plug my OnlyFans.
Oh, my
Kidding, I don't have one
yet. So that about wraps up the show for this episode. Thanks for taking part in answering those questions for us. It was a hot topic, but we have got another question for you. I want to ask you, what's the best act that you have seen at Download? Feel free to @ us, mention us, tell us however you want to tell us. We're very chatty on the social media. Just look for us by searching for Festpod, and tell us your favourite act who you've seen at Download. Who was the best? Who was the most flashy? The most pyrotechnic-y? I love pyrotechnics, mate. I've not seen Rammstein for ages. When were they last on?
2016.
Oh my God, is it that long?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Anyway, so if you want to listen to any of the previous guides, go to festpod.co.uk. There's a full list of guides to Download Festival. Go for your life. So that's it. We'll catch you next time. Bye. A Wilco Productions podcast.
You bastards.